Hello, welcome to the stream. Glad to see the countdown timer works properly today. I am Anna Koenige. I do solo tabletop role-playing content, and today going back to Moria, the One Ring, using the solo rules from the supplement here for running a band of dwarves that are part of Balin's expedition to reclaim Moria. So last time, last two times, we're in session 3 now. Last two times we introduced our band of dwarves. The leader is a dwarven woman called Hon, and she has 6 companions, those being Anna, the smith, Ostri, the artist, Toki, the climber, I suppose, Brock, the charmer, Dari, scion of a noble family, and Var, something of a murderous maniac, it would seem. And we've gone on 3 missions together. So our first mission, we journeyed deep into Moria to visit the Armories of the Third Deep, which is somewhere, I think it's here, number 17 on this map. So Balin's expedition is based over here in the first hall and by the bridge. So we have journeyed over here, the Armories of the Third Deep, and what we found there was the whole place pretty much ruined by the last 1,000 years of orc inhabitation. Everything of value lost, but 2 places unspoiled. Firstly, there is a room at the top filled with treasure, but also filled with the long rotted corpses of dwarves killed by some terrible poison. And we found a door said to lead to special treasures, the very axe of Durin. But the door is locked and unspoiled, so it seems the orcs have not been able to get through there. On our second mission, we journeyed off to this place over here, number 11, the city gate, to bring supplies to a band of dwarves who were watching this to prevent incursions from the west. But they said the west was pretty quiet. There wasn't much activity on the road. It was the east that was giving them problem. And then for our third mission, we went to where was it? It was the Chamber of Mazarbel, which I believe is number 12 on the map. Let's have a look. Indeed, number 12. So this is, of course, the place in the films and the books where they found the sarcophagus of Balin. They found the last stand of the dwarves, ultimately defeated by the orcs. That's where we've been so far. And I was thinking between sessions, like, what should the campaign really be about? Because we've done 3 things. They've been kind of a little bit disconnected. And I don't just want to have a sequence of random adventures. Random adventures is kind of what a solo game is about. There's whole tables for generating random adventures. But I want some sort of story overall. And I think I figured out what that is. So our dwarves are, as you can see on the character sheets here, our dwarves are reclaimers. This means they want to find what is lost. They want to fix the broken things. They want to bring back treasure, reclaim Moria and its lost riches for the dwarves. They're not here to just explore. They're not here because they have a particular hatred of orcs and want to kill them. They're here to make dwarves great again and to save Moria. And what's the best thing that a dwarf could do to save Moria? Well, it's reclaim the whole thing. That's pretty hard for just a band of 7 dwarves to do. But I think a good step along the way would be... So our first mission to the Armories of the Third Deep down here, we saw... If I can find the... here we go. So there was a locked door, as I said, way down here at the bottom, number 9 in the PDF. which leads to room number 10. And room number 10 is a special, super secure treasury. Or, well, armory, I suppose. Armory of treasure. And the thing in there is the Axe of Durin. This is a magic weapon that's certainly very nice to reclaim, to use in the fights against the orcs, and to bring back dwarven rule to Moria. But more than that, it is hugely culturally significant. This is the very axe that was given to Durin by Aule, the creator of the dwarves. It's a sign of authority stretching back to the very birth of the race. It's the weapon of the king. It was said that Moria won't be reclaimed until Durin returns, and Durin isn't back. Balin is here. But if Balin were to wield Durin's axe, to use that in the fights to reclaim Moria, isn't that kind of Durin returning in a sense? Durin may not be here, but his gear is. So I think that's what we want to go for. That should be the aim of our campaign, to recover the Axe of Durin. It's not just as easy as walking through the door, though. It's actually pretty hard to get to it. So I've been going through the setting book, looking at all the different locations, and working out how exactly can you get the Axe of Durin, because were I running this as a campaign for a group of players, I would want to have at least one, ideally more, methods in mind that they could achieve the goal. They might do something totally different. They might not actually come across any of the methods I thought of, but I want at least an idea of how they could do it. Otherwise, it might be impossible, and that's no fun. So I was kind of doing the same sort of thing. How can my dwarves find... What is a way that my dwarves can find the Axe of Durin? So, it says here this is an obscure landmark. I kind of hand-waved that. I just assumed my dwarves knew where it was and what was kind of in there. So I think it's a safe bet they know the Axe of Durin is inside. Or at least they have strong reason to believe that. This is where it's kept and the door is locked. If the orcs had taken it, they wouldn't have locks at the door behind them. They'd have smashed the whole place. So, to get the Axe of Durin, we need to get through the locked door. How do we get through the locked door? That is the King's Door. It has the symbol of Durin upon it. And there are 2 keys, apparently. Our dwarves don't know this, I don't think, but there are 2 keys. One was held by the king, and one by the marshal of the armies. So, let's just start by noting down some points, how they can, what we need to do. So overall goal is to recover the Axe of Durin. I suppose we also have a side goal of like recovering other kingly relics, like the Crown of Moria. I'm sure Balin would greatly appreciate that and would kind of have the same sort of cultural significance, even if it's not usable as a weapon. So let's just note that down. So we want to recover the Axe of Durin, side quest, obtain other kingly relics, for example the crown. How do we recover the Axe of Durin? Well, we need a key. There are 2 keys. Well, firstly... sorry, yes, there are 2 keys. But first we need to learn that there are 2 keys and who held them. So we need to learn these keys exist. We could find a key. That's one way of learning that they exist. If you have it and it looks like it fits the door, you know you've got a key for it. We could consult records. We've just visited the Chamber of Mazabal. Still a dangerous location, but it's a place we could go back to. And we also, last time, found a magic head. So the lore head, which I have noted down over here, the brazen head, the cast head of a dwarven scholar with vocal cords of mithril and eyes of polished quartz. Under moonlight, it whispers secrets. And mechanically, it gives a bonus to lore rolls. So that is something we could possibly use. I don't just want to say the head tells us the answer, as that's not really much fun. If we just know the answer, we have to seek it out. But it's something we could use to help in our research, possibly. So these are the ways we can learn the keys exist. Then we have to recover the keys. Or a key, at least. The two keys are identical. So the Marshal's key, I think, isn't really going to play out. So the Marshal's key apparently is taken by goblins. It says down to the goblin village. There's no way our characters could learn that the key is in the goblin village. They don't even know there is a goblin village. Since this happened after the fall of Moria, there'll be no records pointing in this direction. They'll have no reason to suspect a key could be there. Now, if the characters get captured and taken to Goblin Village, maybe they could just stumble upon the key, much like Bilbo stumbling upon the ring when he was escaping goblins. That's a possibility, but other than that, I don't really see how they could get it. Maybe that will happen if all else fails. If something goes catastrophically wrong and they're captured, it's away. The King's Key is also kind of tricky. So the King's Key is in a place called the Last Redoubt of the Dwarves. And this is where they tried to hold against the Balrog. It's a mighty hall. It is the 5th hall in Moria speak. And it's where the body of the last king, Nain the First, and his bodyguards were trapped. Where they were trapped and killed, and is where their bodies still lie. The door is magically sealed by the Balrog. And so getting in is very hard. You need to overcome the magic of the Balrog, but just finding the place is super difficult as well. This is something I'm not super satisfied with in the module, so it does suggest how you could find the last redoubt, and the options are really incredible luck. You just stumble upon it. You could have a prophetic dream. A ghost might bring you here. Or you might get lucky and find a reference to the 5th hall being super defensible, and then for some reason make the leap of logic that maybe this is where the king held out against the Balrog. It's a bit contrived. I think that this one of my major problems with the module. I think is it's kind of hard to find that these places in Moria exist. It's supposed to be this giant, super huge dungeon, but there isn't much information about things really. So, King's Keys in the Last Redoubt. Let's go down another level as it's decided to get a bit nested. So find the Last Redoubt, and our options are incredible luck. I don't really like this one. I mean, Bilbo finding the ring was incredible luck. The dwarves and Bilbo finding the magic swords in the troll hole in The Hobbit was incredible luck, but I don't think finding the bones of the King of Moria should be incredible luck. That's just a bit too Deus Ex Machina, I feel. Do I like Moria more or less? I think I do like it. I think I wish it was a bit more detailed, I suppose. in how things are connected and laid out. It leaves a lot up to the game master to figure out how to run it. Moria is more of a it's not really a dungeon. It's too vague for that. It's maybe more of a point crawl, which isn't the adventure style I prefer, but it does kind of work. So finding the last readout, we've got incredible luck as an option. There are a few clues to it in other places. So in the armories of the Third Deep, which we previously visited, there is, it says somewhere, yes, in the Broken Hall, a successful scan test finds a crude orc painting depicting cornered dwarves starving in an underground hall. Despite the primitive rendition, the image of a door is recognizable as early era architecture, suggesting these dwarves perished in Old Moria. One of the dwarves wears a crown. This is a depiction of the last redoubts. So that's a way you could find it. However, we've already been to the armories of the Third Deep, and I made this roll, and the characters didn't spot it. So I don't want to go back there, as that's super metagamey. The only reason to do that would be as if they had some reason to believe there was something they had missed, and I don't think they do. Another clue is in the first hall, which is accessible only on Durin's Day, so once a year. And in this hall, there is the list of kings of Moria. And someone has... One of the last dwarves in Moria has scratched in Nain 5 after Durin the 6th. Nain was the son of Durin, and so took over as, briefly, the last king of Moria before the Balrog killed him. However, the clue you're supposed to glean from this is that he was Nain the 1st, not Nain the 5th, so a carving of Nain 5 is kind of weird. And so maybe you make the leap of logic that Nain 5 means Nain in the 5th hall, which, maybe. It's an option. It's something that could possibly be done. We have the Heart of the Mountain somewhere. Yes, this is in the Great West Cave. The Heart of the Mountain is the tomb of Durin the First, and in here, you can if someone sleeps in here, they will have the first time a dwarf sleeps in here, they will have a prophetic dream. It says, usually this takes the form of a vision of craft, inspiring the dwarf to make or repair some wonderful arts. Or it could be something more practical, like pointing out the location of a secret location in Moria, like the Last Redoubt. I actually quite like this one. It is the game master just saying, hey, go here. But getting to the Heart of the Mountain is pretty hard. It in itself is a secret location. And if there's anywhere in Moria you're going to get a prophetic dream, I think the Tomb of Durin the First is a suitable place. So I'm going to put that down as a yes, I think. And then going back to the Last Redoubt, the other suggestions it has, could have a prophetic dream just in general. I don't really like that. If you should have to do something special to get a prophetic dream. You could be told by a ghost. No, that's not fun. That's an NPC coming and solving the problem for the player characters. Or maybe you could find ancient records saying the 5th hall was especially defensible. I think going from that clue to this is where the king died is a bit of a stretch, unless the records say that this was the king's panic room. If it's the king's panic room, then you might think, well, maybe the king is there. So I think that's also a strong maybe. Another slight problem with the Last Redoubt is that opening the door attracts Balrog attention. There are two suggested ways the door could open. Firstly, you might just need magic. That's doable but tricky. The player characters could find a suitable magic item, or you can batter it down, but that will take longer and attract more attention from the Balrog. So that's an optional. And that's let's see. Yes, I think that's kind of about where I got. Thinking about this between sessions, I did come up with some ideas on top of this as to how like what a sequence of missions could be to get through this. So let's just note some of those down. So I think the first thing is probably fortifying the Chamber of Mazabal, which we visited last session. We killed the goblins who were there, but it has not been fortified, so I don't think we can really spend a long time there risk-free. Now, in the One Ring, the game is kind of divided into adventure phases and fellowship phases, where fellowship phases are periods of downtime. And there's kind of a list of things you can do in fellowship phases, and a new thing you can do in Moria, which I've not done so far. This game is, if I can find it, once a year, you can go on a mission to secure a strategic location, and then establish that as a safe haven. And this takes weeks to do, but it is an option. I think we need to take this option to consult the records in the Chamber of Mazabal, so that's going to be a thing to do. So we need to we need to go and clear it out. We've already kind of done that actually, and then spend an undertaking to turn it into a safe haven. This lets us consult law there. Then, I think after that, we want to consult the records to determine who had keys to this room we're trying to get into, the King's Door, beyond which is the Axe of Durin. One of the options we have in the One Ring for kind of resolving complex things is called a skill challenge, a skill endeavor rather, where you need to get a certain number of successes to achieve some obstacle, and generally there's a time limit. However, I think in this case, let's not have a time limit. The cost for taking a long time is that this is just what we're doing instead of doing anything else. So I'll say that this is a laborious skill endeavor, which means we're going to need of law, which means we're going to need 9 successes, I believe. Where does it say? No, we need 6 successes from law rolls to answer this question. So there's no time limit, but this is going to be what we're doing instead of something else. So this will tell us that the king and the marshal had keys. So I think what will follow from there is going to the king's hall and the adjoining king's bedroom to search it for keys. Sadly, there are actually no keys here. As I said, the marshal's key is in Goblin Village, and the king's key is in the last redoubt in the 5th hall. So there are no keys here. But I think there is a clue. It doesn't say that this is here, but I think it's reasonable that it is. I think there should be an engraving showing a cave with a sarcophagus inside that has an inscription on top saying Durin the First. Now we get into the kind of slight leap of logic. So our characters aren't going to think, oh, maybe if I go to the tomb of Durin the First, I'll have a prophetic vision telling me where the king's key is. That would be kind of dumb. Instead, I think they'll think, which I'm definitely metagaming as I'm both GM and player in this game. I think they will think, let's get rid of this. Goodbye, spammer. Okay, I think they will see this and think, well, the key of the king is it would sure be nice to have that, wouldn't it? But since there's no possible way we could find that, maybe we can go visit Durin the First tomb and save something there. You know, even if we can't get Durin's axe, we could save Durin himself. That would be quite something. So the next mission will be to, the next undertaking will be to work out where this could possibly be. And I think this will be a simple skill endeavor, so 3 successes. After that, a mission to find the tomb. The tomb of Durin the First is protected. Where is it? So it's in the Great West Cave, through a hidden path, so it's going to be very difficult to find. And there is a ghost nearby, the stone ghost, a spirit that haunts the cave. If anyone trespasses, they risk the spirit rising up to attack them. Invisible to mortal eyes, but can hurl rocks and boulders as weapons. I think the ghost will probably be hostile to our dwarves. If I were running a campaign for players, I'd kind of judge like how well they're doing, how good they're feeling. If they're feeling a bit beaten down, maybe the ghost wouldn't be hostile to dwarves. But in this case, the ghost is going to be hostile to dwarves. So I think just to get there, we have to get by the ghost. And then we have to search the caves for a narrow, hidden path known only to a handful of dwarves, probably none of whom are still alive. So we know the general vicinity of the cave, but finding it is another matter. So I think this is going to be another skill endeavor of whatever skill is appropriate for searching for things. Let's have a look. Probably explore. We've also got vigilance, possibly. I think probably explore. So let's note that down. And I think there should be a time limit here, unlike our law research skill endeavors, because if we take too long, maybe the stone ghost will come back. So let's say that's we have a time limit of 6, which is where is it? Time limit of 6 means that there is plenty of time to search, which I think there is. The ghost is only in one place and there are many caves, so it's unlikely to stumble upon it, but it will happen eventually. If the time limit runs out, we bump into the ghost, have to deal with it in some way, and then like try again. Once we get there, we have our prophetic vision. Once we've had our prophetic vision, we know that we need to go to the 5th hall. I think the vision should be specific enough to tell us kind of roughly where it is. We need to kind of bust in through the Balrog protected door. We might encounter the Balrog during this, depends on how aware it is of us. But once we've searched the last redoubts, we get the keys, and then we can go and collect the Axe of Durin. So I think that is an outline of the rest of the campaign. There's a lot of undertakings here, spending time to do research, maybe multiple roles, and we can't do undertakings back to back. So there'll be kind of missions in between these, like little side quests, drawing upon our opportunities and loose threads to kind of tie them into the overall narrative. And maybe we won't make it, maybe we'll die, and we'll never recover the Axe of Durin. But if it does go well, we will get the axe, we'll hand it over to Balin, and I guess the campaign will end before the huge decline. Yeah, well, if I miss some lore endeavors, I think it'll just take longer. So I said no time limit on these. It's just replacing doing something else during that fellowship phase. So maybe there'll have to just be more missions kind of done between fellowship phases. But we'll see. Anyway, I ended last session with a fellowship phase, so I can't immediately do this undertaking to turn the Chamber of Mazarbel into a safe haven, so I'm going to need to go on another mission first. So let's roll up a mission. And actually adventure. Okay. I should also mention I had some thoughts on house rules. So in the last few missions, I felt that the eye awareness wasn't really very threatening. It needs to get to 14 for something bad to happen, and it goes up fairly slowly unless you're being intentionally loud. So I think the eye awareness is supposed to reset every fellowship phase. I am not going to reset it in a hurried or brief fellowship phase. I'm only going to reset it in a what's it called? An extended fellowship phase. Unless it's already reached the hunt threshold, in which case a brief or hurried one will do it. So this means the eye awareness will kind of build up across adventures, and eventually something bad will happen, which will be more exciting than it's always, resetting before something bad does happen. And I think that makes sense because in the base rules, a fellowship phase is multiple weeks minimum. So it makes sense that maybe the Eye of Mordor and the Forces of Evil would lose sight of you in that time. But if you're only going back home and resting for a couple of hours, you should still be on their watch list. Anyway, let's prepare a mission. Got an Eye of Sauron and a 5. Okay, defeat a champion of the Shadow and their minions. That's rough. Let's put this over here. Just looking at my loose ends, I think it's time. There are two possibilities. So we've got the troll that used to live in the armories of the Third Deep that we drove off. That could come back. Or we slew someone in the Chamber of Mazarbel that Granny Goblin wants revenge over. So one of these two, I guess, comes with forces. They'd both be fun options. Let's just roll a die. Odds, it's the troll. Evens, it's the goblins. It's the troll. Okay, so I think the troll had a name. What was the troll's name? The Mauler. Okay, so the Mauler has possibly been harrying bands of dwarves. It has picked up some goblins and is getting revenge on all dwarves, and maybe Barlin or someone in his command has kind of put two and two together. We reported driving off this especially big armored troll, and now there's an especially big armored troll that seems to have a vendetta against dwarves. Oops. Well, that's what we're doing. Choose your allies. Well, we've just got these guys. I should maybe recruit some more allies, but that'll do. And let's see, no one is injured or fatigued, I believe. Yes, everyone is in perfect condition. Okay. So our readiness starts at 5 because it starts at 4 and we have one hardened ally. So our target number will be 15 for all the band's rolls. Now we need to set our disposition. So these are essentially skills for the band that replace the player character skills when it is the band as a whole acting. We are a medium band, which doesn't affect anything. We are geared for war, I think, so that means we have a heavy burden and a plus 1 to our war. We shall set our eye awareness for the first time before it starts building up until we have an extended fellowship. So let's see. So starts at 0. We have a +1 because we are a dwarf. We're a medium band, which adds 2 to that, so we're on 3. Okay, so our starting eye awareness is 3. And the hunt threshold, so the default is 14. The previous mission, it was... what was the previous... The previous mission was clearing out... It was going to the Chamber of Mazarbel. I mean, it was a success. I'm not sure I'd call it an astounding success, so I don't think we get this modifier. And our fellowship phase, it was brief. So our hunt threshold is still 14. And now we need to set off. So to work out where we're going, actually. I mean, the troll is just going to be in a effectively random location. So I think let's just do the random way of determining where to go. So there's an option here. If we're conducting a mission in a more abstract fashion, we can just roll 2d6s, add them together, multiply that by 4 to determine where the thing is. I feel it's probably not that far away if it's causing problems, but I guess we'll see. Moria is very big. Okay, 28 miles away. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Maybe like maybe 28 miles away is where its base seems to be. We should also stat out the mauler. So let's see, battles. How big a group is this? Maybe a warband with an archfoe. So a warband has 2 might and 9 resistance. But with an archfoe, is a troll a lesser archfoe? I think a troll's probably a greater archfoe. At least if it's specifically out to get us. It would be kind of funny if I did all that thinking about where the campaign should go, and then we get immediately killed by a warband. But we'll see. I believe that's everything kind of set up and ready to go. Yes. Okay. Let's go find the mauler and its warband. Right, so start by making a maneuver roll. Just double check I've got that all set up correctly. Ah, yes, we need to pick a specialization. Very important. I think Sentinels makes sense because we're keeping an eye out for this. So that bumps our vigilance up by 1. Right, let's undertake a journey. So start with a maneuver roll. Our target number is 15. That is not 15. So I'm now making a travel roll for my player character, but I'm losing a die because I failed on this roll. So it is inspired, so I roll 2d12s and take the best, but I'm only rolling 2d6 now. I could possibly spend hope on this to get some more dice and cover more ground more quickly, as it is going to take a few rolls to get through this. So yeah, let's spend a point of hope. I will mark that off here. Also very important to note fellowship points. I think that's full. So yep, I'll note down that we have 4 fellowship points here because we can spend these for a bonus in combat. Okay, I've spent a point of hope, so I get a third d6. And my target number for travel is 18. Okay. Okay. 8, 10. Yeah, didn't quite make it. 17. One point off. Would have made it, no matter the d6, if I hadn't failed that maneuver roll. So that means we only make it 2 miles before something happens. And what is going to happen? Oh, Gandalf rune, that's a good thing. And 2, the dread and wonder of Moria. So we don't get any fatigue points. We just see where was it? Where is the dread and wonder of Moria? The deadly dark, the long dark, the watchful eyes. After that, we've got endlessly branching the right way. And a chance meeting. That's I expected a table labeled the Dread and Wonder of Moria, but it's possibly in the non-solo journey rules. Let's have a look. Okay, there isn't a separate table for the Dread and Wonder of Moria, so we just encounter yeah. I guess we stumble across some ancient ruined chamber, which will either inspire us in either a good way or a bad way. So let's roll up a random chamber and see where we have found ourselves. In a well or watercourse, it must be something like truly massive to inspire this feeling in us. Giant aqueducts. Maybe we are walking through a like a hallway, and it suddenly just opens up. Like the walls, ceiling, and floor just all fall away, and we're walking across this like narrow bridge through this vast cave, and there is the sound of running water, and like above and below we can see these huge aqueducts that once would have supplied all the cisterns and wells of the city. I've just described it as amazing, so I'll ignore the 4 roll here for its appearance, as it is not simple. But I do want to know its condition. Like, is it good? Utterly ruined. Okay, that's what the 4 means. So we don't have the sound of like nicely running water. We've got the sound of waterfalls, as these huge aqueducts are just broken off in various places, and there's just like water just cascading off. The bridge we're walking along is kind of slick with moisture, and I think we need to cross this safely, which is probably a maneuver roll, which isn't amazing. So seeing it, I think, takes our breaths away, both with wonder for the works of the past and sadness over how fallen it now is. And that's not a 15, so we get a shadow point. I rolled to resist for the band, I believe. It is Shadow from Dread. So that is resisted with... I can never remember which one is resisted with which. Okay, Dread. Dread is resisted by Valor. Okay, can we like power through this? My Valor target number is an 18, so probably not, actually. In fact, I would need a perfect roll on this. The target number is actually 19, I think. No. The target number is 18, but I would need to roll a perfect roll, an 18 on a d12 plus a d6. It was not perfect. We are gaining that shadow point. Seeing the mighty works of the dwarves just broken and cast down, it's enough to make any dwarf cry. But we press on. We've got a troll to kill or possibly be killed by. These dwarves aren't going to kill themselves. um, so there'll be another maneuver roll. Hopefully we'll move more than 2 miles this time. Otherwise it'll be a very long journey. That is 16. That is a success 16 with a success symbol. So does that... I believe I looked into this before. It doesn't give us anything special. Oh, no, it does. It gives us bonus dice. Okay, so I'm now making my travel roll. I will get 1 bonus die for succeeding on this roll, and then a second one for getting the 6 symbol. So I'll get 2 bonus dice on my travel roll. My travel roll, I would normally be rolling 2d12s and 3d6s, so I'm now rolling 2d12s and 5d6s, which is a nice upgrade. Okay, the best d12 was the 10. Target number is an 18. We've definitely reached 18 there, but it was... we don't have any 6s on the d6s, so we only move 6 miles, which is something. 20 miles away from our destination, but it could be better. So we encounter some sort of obstacle again. The long dark of Moria. Fitting after just encountering this ruined place. Endless ruination. No, not endless ruination. Dark dwelling foes. Ooh, a noteworthy encounter. A noteworthy encounter. Okay, so rather than just resolving this with a single roll, we kind of play out a whole scene here. I'm going to consult the lore table and see what sort of thing we have encountered here. A 5 and a 4. So I guess feature makes sense first, which is lair. That feels fitting. We encounter some sort of lair. Let's go with aspect. Grand, a grand lair. That's not sounding promising. Then for the last 2, we have an action and a focus. Our action is 7-4 restored, and our focus is 10-2 wish. Okay, a grand lair, just somehow relating to a restored wish, or is there to restore a wish? And what was the overall thing for this? It was the long dark of Moria. Dark dwelling foes. The obvious answer would be encountering some goblins or orcs, but that's boring given that we're going to hunt goblins and orcs. I think we've encountered, if I can find them, described somewhere in the deeps, I believe. Strange, kind of almost feral dwarves. Been enslaved for 1,000 years and are just completely mad. They may be in fell foes, slave dwarves. Yeah, look at this picture. This is not a friendly guy to encounter. This looks like the sort of guy who would probably skin you alive. The most crazed among the slave dwarves even fling themselves into battle for their goblin tormentors. Utterly lost in their visions, believing themselves to be fighting for the defense of Khazad-dûm against some foe. I think we encounter a bunch of these guys on some sort of mission which has brought them up from the mines. Maybe they're like carrying stuff, just being laborers, and we see them. Dwarves, debased so horribly. I feel it's going to take a skill test not to call out, probably scan. Failing this, we'll think they're normal dwarves and like call out a friendly greeting, and something bad will happen. 10, 14. Oh, we just make it. Well, with a 6, so it's a extra good success. Hmm. Okay, so we are coming through this passageway. I imagine Moria is very, very maze-like with lots of branching corridors like everywhere. So we're walking along and we hear like shuffling, like this guy's not even wearing shoes, like shuffling footsteps, like several of them coming from like a corridor a bit further down. It doesn't sound like goblins because we don't have like the tap tap of their like clawed toenails. So Hon kind of like holds up a hand, and the band kind of like comes to a halt and like covers up their lights and watches carefully in the dark. And then, to their surprise, they see come shuffling out of a side passageway, carrying like some crate of something. I think like 4 dwarves and someone. Who's the friendliest one? It's Brock the Charmer. Brock is about to like shout a greeting, but Hon realizes that something is not quite right here and like slaps a hand over Brock's mouth before he can cry out. And see them just like shuffling along, carrying their thing. Then maybe like a goblin just like emerges, like following them with a whip. It's multiple goblins. I suppose they need to be a threat that we'd like to avoid, ideally. So the dwarves come out carrying things. They're followed by armed goblins, and we'd ideally not like to fight these guys. So the whole band is going to try to stealth, which is probably maneuver, but let me check. Let me see what exactly maneuver covers. It's used in coordinated movement or speed is required, such as when fleeing a danger or to avoid attention by sneaking through enemy-held territory. Yep, I think this is going to be a maneuver roll, and if we fail, the goblins and the slave dwarves will notice us, and we'll have a problem to deal with. That's definitely not 15. Okay, they notice us. Do I want to play out a whole fight here, or like with the full clash rules, or do I resolve this in one go? Given that I'm going to do a fight, I don't think I want to play out a whole fight on the way, so I'll just make a war roll. If it's a success, I guess we drive them off. If it's a failure, someone's going to get injured. And I think in both cases, someone's going to get fatigued. So we are slightly better at war. But not actually. Let's see. 8. 11, 50. Oh, we just made it. Okay. Right, a brief fight happens as they notice us. Someone makes a noise, and someone is going to become fatigued, but no one is injured. 6. That is var. Mark that. Oops. Use the black pen. That's a bit more visible. Okay, var is now fatigued. This was also very loud, so this has raised our eye awareness by 2 points. And we continue through the long dark of Moria with our next maneuver roll. These band rolls do feel a bit hard with the like target number is very high compared to the number of dice you roll, but I suppose that it's supposed to pressure you to get more hardened allies as that reduces your target number. So probably should aim to have like one hardened ally from every adventure, I guess. Otherwise it would take a very long time to build up a full squad. That's probably a thing to aim for. Oh, and that's a definite failure, and it's an Eye of Sauron, so our eye awareness is going up as well. Okay, so we're losing 1 die for the travel roll. And that's a failure as well. Okay, we go 2 miles and something happens. It's going to be a long journey to get to the Mauler. But it's a reasonably good thing that we encounter. We got a Gandalf rune, and oh, was the Gandalf rune the one that didn't actually have a table? I think it might have been. The Dread and Wonder of Moria, yes. Oh, we should also have gained fatigue points from encountering stuff. So I'm now on 5 fatigue, and the band needs to roll to resist this fatigue. So let's just do that now before I forget. Can't remember what they need to roll. I think it was a rally roll. Let's just go with that. That die is piled up. Let's try rolling that again. Okay, they resisted the fatigue is added to the target number. So it's 2 fatigue, so 17 is the target number. Okay, we made it. No one gets additionally fatigued, just the bit of fatigue I imposed for the battle. Okay. Oh, thanks for the follow, Cupboard Gnome. That's a good name, by the way. Okay, let's see what we encountered in the Dread and Wonder of Moria. We've encountered some other large, interesting feature. So let's go back to the random chamber generator. A Great Hall, which is burnt. And let's also see what its appearance is. Natural. I think this is the second natural hall or Great Hall I've rolled, which I kind of imagine as like a giant cave that has had kind of the minimum work done to it to make it not a cave. So like maybe like maybe like a wall on either end has been smoothed and doorways kind of carved into it. Like particularly loose bits of rock or whatever have been dealt with, but the whole thing is mostly natural, because That's what dwarves like. There's probably um, like a some sort of pond, um, cave dwelling creatures down here. There might even be like a shaft of sunlight from way up top. Um, but it is burnt, so the all the rock is kind of just melted. The ground is scorched. It smells of sulfur, and the dread and wonder of Moria. We need to not be dismayed by this. We need to rally to get through this. This sign of something horrible that's happened in the past. Oops. But we don't rally. It is a sad sight, much like the broken aqueduct room. So that is potentially another shadow point. We need to roll to resist shadow. It is dread again, so that is resisted with heart. So not a good chance here. Nope. So that is another shadow point. If this equals our hope, which is 9, and hope can go down as we spend it, all of our rolls become worse. But we have to keep pressing on. There's a giant troll to kill or possibly be killed by, which one happens, we'll discover. Hopefully not too much longer. There's another failure on the maneuver roll. I should be spending much more hope on these. And so on the travel roll, I'm going to spend a point of hope, bringing us slightly closer to despair, down to 8 hope. By rolling an additional die. Okay. 12, 14. Yeah, we've made it. So the target is 18. And we've got 2 6s. So we're going to move 6 miles for succeeding, plus 4 miles, 2 for each 6 symbol we've got. Okay. We just made it 10 miles through Moria. We are finally making some progress. Maybe we're making progress through hallways that have been cleared by a giant troll, busting its way through them. The obstacle we encounter is the long dark of Moria again. I forgot to roll for the fatigue points again. Okay, let's do that. So I'm on 7 fatigue, and the band needs to roll rally to resist fatigue. They didn't, and I got an I. So the eye awareness is going up much faster this time than previous ones. Oh well. So someone's getting fatigued. Number 4. Brock. Okay, so we have the long dark of Moria. We will get fatigue from this if it goes. Well, we'll probably get fatigue from this, regardless of what happens. We've rolled a 5, which is fallen kin. We have found. I jokingly said maybe we're going faster because we're moving through hallways smashed open by a giant troll. I think we are, because we have found a dead dwarf. Presumably relatively recently dead. So we need to lay them to rest. Either craft or expertise. Let's see who is best at that. So expertise, we are in. The band is inspired, so we roll 2d12s. Craft, I'm inspired, and I have a slightly better target number. So it makes slightly more sense for me to roll craft. So maybe some of the guys are like digging a small grave, and I am like gathering appropriate stones to make a cairn. And we will attempt to lay this poor person to rest. And succeed with a Gandalf rune. We've succeeded even without the Gandalf rune. This is an awesome roll. I wish I had this other times. But okay, we lay them to rest. We feel better about it, so we're not gaining any shadow points, but we are gaining fatigue, so I'm getting pretty fatigued now. With my 9. My load is 13, so that's 22 in total. If that equals my endurance, which is 28, things get bad. So the band has to roll a rally to resist getting more fatigued. Yep, that is a success. So the band doesn't take any fatigue, even though I do. This is wrong. I said we moved 10 miles, not 8 miles. So we only have 8 miles to go. We might get there this time. I really want to get there. I don't just want to move 2 miles again. So I'm gonna spend some hope on this maneuver roll. Yep, that did it. So we got a success and a 6. So we'll get 2 bonus dice to the travel roll. Two d12s, 3 d6s, plus 2 d6s. And I want to succeed and also get a 6 on a d6. That would get us there in one go. Did not get a 6 on a d6. That's very sad. But that is a success. So we move 6 miles. We're now very close to the Mauler. But frustratingly, not quite there. Alright, what is the last thing that happens to us before we find the Mauler and possibly killed by another I'm rolling a lot of Gandalf runes on these journey things. So the Dread and Wonder of Moria again. What large ruined chamber have we come across this time? So we've had an aqueduct, we've had a hall. We've got a 9, a large dwelling, which is in condition 8, despoiled. A despoiled large dwelling. What does it look like? 7. Richly decorated. That fits with it being a large dwelling. I think maybe since we're so close to the Mauler, maybe we're looking for a place to catch our breath before the fight, and we kind of see this like somewhat okay looking chamber. We go in, find out this was like a dwelling. I'm not really sure what you'd call an underground house, because it's not like a standalone structure, one would assume. It's just a set of rooms cut out of the rock. Anyway, we found a house of sorts, and evidently the house of a rich family. There's remnants of decorations. Maybe there's like frescoes and paintings and sculptures and things that have all been, despoiled by orcs and goblins over the years. It's safe, it's out of the way, but just kind of being here makes us feel a bit bad, because it kind of gets you trying to rest in a place that's been ruined so clearly. So I think this time the band is going to roll expertise to kind of fix this place up and avoid gaining some shadow. And I think it has to be the band because it's a large dwelling. One person can't do that by themselves. So me rolling craft would not be appropriate. And that is a success. We clean the place up, have a nice rest, and then we make our way to the Mauler. And it's 2 miles away, so there's no point rolling for this last leg of the journey, as 2 miles is the minimum distance that we can make. So we rest up. We have just traveled 26 miles, so maybe we even we probably spend the night there. Just wondering if there's anything that can recover in that brief time. Yeah, something recovers in a prolonged rest. I can't remember what. Let's go find out. Where is my main rulebook? Here we go. Let's have a look. A prolonged rest. Recover all lost. I've not lost any endurance points. Okay, that's it. That's all I recover. But so nothing to recover because I've not lost any endurance. All right. Well, we set off to meet the Mauler. Let's head over to our solo battle rules. All right, what is our objective in this battle? I think it is to, well, our mission is to defeat a champion of the shadow. So we may not need to kill the entire warband to kill the Mauler, but it definitely shouldn't be easy to kill the Mauler without killing the warband. So yeah, I think we can do this as some smaller objectives. Maybe maybe we could have kill the Mauler as a resistance 9. I think I would apply damage that we deal to both the resistance of the warband and the resistance of this objective, as we're trying to kill the Mauler, so we are fighting as we do this. But it means that we can kill the Mauler with the warband still having a little bit of resistance left. So we could potentially flee rather than press the fight if need be. So that's our objective. Okay, advantages, yes, and complications, we determine these at the start. And there is an archfoe here, so that means we lose 1 die. I forgot that last time, so let's note that down. And yes, we've set the might and resistance and all that stuff. So, right, what is the field of battle? I would like a random chamber for this. Wherever that table is, here we go. Don't need the details really, just what sort of room has the Mauler set up in? 1. A utility room. Okay, the Mauler is in just a... It's not even a storeroom, it's a utility room. Just some small room that was used for something. Servants' hallways and stuff. Yeah, maybe a kind of network of little hallways. We are creeping around, and we come across the Mauler in there, along with the Mauler's warband. Oh, I could also have rolled on this table here. So I guess it's cramped passages and chambers, which will affect what we can do. We maybe can't all surround the Mauler because the Mauler is big, and we're in a cramped place. And there's goblins between us and the Mauler. I don't think we're surprised. We're actively hunting the Mauler, but we may. Okay, so it suggests we could use maneuver to set up an ambush or expertise to prepare fortifications. I would quite like to have fortifications prepared. And I think it's reasonable to say we could do that because we know roughly where the Mauler is and it's cramped passageways and chambers, so we could presumably block off some of them. It kind of directs the movement of the Mauler and his warband to some degree, so I think we were allowed to make this roll to set up fortifications. I think if the roll fails, nothing bad's going to happen, we just won't have fortifications. So an expertise roll is favoured. No, we did not manage to set up meaningful fortifications in time. Maybe a goblin spotted us as we were getting things in order. So now we make a battle roll, or I make a battle roll to kind of start the fight and array my troops. I'm not very good at battle. This is something I'm going to fail at. We're not unprepared. We are forewarned, but we're not really in a strong position because we've just failed to set up our fortifications. So we'll see. Oops, my d6 escaped. There we go. Failed anyway. Okay. Right, so that's a failure. It's not an Eye of Sauron, so it's not as terrible as it could have been. But that means we're going to get a temporary complication on our next roll. So that's bad because we're losing one die because of there's an archfoe present, and we're losing one die because we're unprepared. I might be able to kill all my dwarves. We'll see. Okay. Right, so what am I doing? I don't really want to command because I'm bad at battle. I believe I'm bad at enheartening as well, so I don't really want to inspire. Yes, I'm even worse at enheartening people than I am at battling. I could lose myself in the chaos of battle, rolling probably my axe skill to try to create an opening. I could face off against the Mauler by himself. That may be suicide. Let's get the Mauler's stats up. Where is it? The deeps. The armories of the third deep. The Mauler. Oh, endurance 80. He's so strong. He is dull-witted, so I could maybe riddle him. I do like that you can distract trolls with riddles. They just kept that from The Hobbit. Let's try dueling the Mauler, which means I'll have to remember how the actual normal combat rules work as well as the solo combat rules. Okay, combat. All right, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to duel the archfoe, which means I do some number of rounds and then yes, duels. Okay, so it's just the normal combat rules, and I play out 3 rounds of the fight, then we resolve a clash phase. And my band can help me. Okay, Okay, so clash rules. So I choose a stance. The band choose a stance. And then we roll. Let's see. Thought they could do something to make it bad for the archfoe. Oh, that's something you can spend extra successes on. Yeah, I feel it's probably a bad idea to duel the Mauler. Interesting as it could be, like maybe once I've got a load of magical gear, it would make sense to do. But I think I'm going to chicken out and just go for fight. Okay, so I lose myself in the chaos of battle and roll an appropriate combat proficiency for an equipped weapon, modified by the enemy's might. So their might is something very high, is 3. So my target number will be 17. I'm rolling with axes, I guess that's my best weapon. And no, it's only the clash roll that loses dice from these things. So this fight roll I'm making is just a straight axe roll. And I'm going to make use of Barlin's counsel. I'm going to spend a fellowship point to make this roll favored. So let's mark off that. So I'm going to need all the help I can get. That's not great. Yeah, that's not 17. Okay, so that's a failure. Roll 2 success dice and add them together and reduce my endurance by that amount. Okay, that's only 2. Could be worse. But my fatigue is so high. If it drops down to 22, that's not good. Okay. The band. I think they have to be guarded here, given the disadvantages we're getting on this first roll. So that means the clash roll is going to be favored, but we don't get to spend any 6s for extra stuff. So, okay, so 2d12s, we've got 3 dice from war, but we lose 2 of them. 1 for the archfoe, 1 because we were caught unprepared. So, need to hit a 15 with effectively 1d12 and 1d6. Okay, that's an 11. Oh, it's also modified by their mights. The target number was actually 18. Well, that's a failure. Should maybe have applied an ally's gift. Got Dari and Var who both fit here, but oh well. It's a failure. I need to make an endurance test for the band. And an endurance test doesn't mean a rally test. Let's just check that. Yes, make a rally roll. Failure. So, in a battle, yes, I remember. It doesn't actually directly say. So yes, right, yes. I think they get a random ally moves up one step in the injuries list. 1. Anna now has a fleeting injury. It's going to happen. I'm going to kill my band of dwarves immediately after I work out what the arc of the campaign should be. Okay, well, at least we've got rid of this temporary disadvantage now. I think. I'm not going to check the rules to confirm that. I just want it to be gone. Okay, so... I think... I'm going to continue fighting with another point of fellowship to make it favored. So 3 might. My target number is 17. I could spend a hope as well, actually. That's probably hope's running very low. Oops. 6. Yeah, let's spend a hope on this. Because, yes, if I do get 6s on the d6 as well as succeed, that does give me something extra. It's not a total waste. Of course, I do need to actually succeed for that to happen. Oh, come on. 3s on both d12s. Okay, what have we got here? 17. I don't think that's 17. No. That's at 15, which would have been a success if the might wasn't added on. So that's a failure. I'm going to take some more endurance damage here. I'm keeping nothing back for the travel because I'm going to die if I don't. Oh no, 9 points of endurance. No. Okay, I am now weary. Which means that some of my rolls don't count. So if I am weary, 1s, 2s, and 3s on my success dice do not count. So my band is still okay, but I, as a player character, am not fine. There's a rule for desperate stands. Let's quickly read this. When a roll for the band or player hero fails in a critical moment, there's a chance for an ally to save the day, but at potentially great cost. To make a desperate stand following a failed roll, choose an ally who will step into the fray. Then repeat the roll, making the new roll favored and inspired. If you roll a Gandalf rune, the ally survives. Otherwise, succeed or fail, the ally is lost, having made the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of their fellows. So, it being inspired doesn't matter here. Inspired just means you get more d6s, but you need to roll a Gandalf rune. So, if it looks like we're about to die, I could sacrifice someone, roll 2 d12s, and if one of them comes up a 12, we can make it out. I fear it may come to this. Okay, anyway, I failed that roll, so I've taken some damage. The band... I feel being cautious here is just going to lead to a slow death. They have to throw themselves in, risk it all. So they're going to be aggressive. So the clash roll is ill-favored, rolling 2 d12s and taking the worst. I'm going to cancel that with a fellowship point. So it's just a normal roll. It is a war roll. It's 3 dice, but lose 1 because there's an archfoe. Going to use a gift here. I believe I can only use 1 gift at a time. Yes, you can apply an ally's gift as a bonus to the roll. If you do, the ally should be at the forefront of the action. You can't have 2 people at the forefront. So let's say that I've already got Dari as hardened. Let's say Var, with his grim fury, throws himself into the fray, hopefully hacking goblins apart. So something bad may happen to Var. And I'm going to spend a point of hope, very close to being sad. Get another die. So I'm rolling 4d6 and a d12. Oh no! An Eye of Sauron. So my target number was 18. I didn't get an 18. And the eye awareness goes up by 1. Actually, no. It's non-combat rolls that do that. Uh-oh. Something bad's about to happen to Var. So I did get an Eye of Sauron. That means his gift is wasted until we recover it. Okay. So that's bad. Failure with an eye. Make an endurance test and also roll on the setback table. Oof. Okay. So, I mean, I'm rolling Rally to avoid injury, but if it fails, it's going to be Var who takes the injury because he was at the forefront of the action. Gandalf Rune. He's okay, but something bad's going to happen anyway. Let's roll for a setback. Gandalf Rune. Ah, perfect. Well, as perfect as it can be. Your band falters. Make a successful rally roll or add a persistent complication, failing morale. My dice cam light is not as bright as it should be. Why is that happening? I'll figure that out later. Okay, rally roll. I didn't succeed that rally roll. Okay, I got a persistent complication, failing morale. Not managed to land a single hit on the enemies yet. And we're down to 1 fellowship. Maybe I'll have an amazing string of successful rolls. You never know. Okay. I'm pretty sure they're all going to die, though. Okay, let's roll to fight. You may believe, I don't believe. Can be more dwarves claimed by the long dark of Moria. 10, 15, 17. That's a success on the fight roll. Okay. And I previously said I'd count resistance for the Mauler and the warband the same, as the goal is to kill a member of the warband. So that's good. I got a 6 on there as well, which is nice. So that creates an opening and gains a die on the clash roll. Okay, the band. I made an aggressive stance roll last time, and when you're aggressive, when making the clash roll, immediately reduce the resistance by 1 point, no matter the outcome. I think that's just the band, not the archfoe this time. Okay, so that's gone down. Let's be aggressive again and spend my last fellowship points. Okay, let's spend hope. I can't spend any more hope or the band will become miserable, and that will be bad. And I get a bonus die because I got a success icon. Okay, what have we got? 15, 23. That's a success. It was aggressive, so that automatically went down by 1. We do have a 6, so that's good. So we've got 2 successes to spend. Put them both in attack. Okay, that's good. That's promising, but we're out of hope and fellowship now. So it's all going to go downhill from here. I also think I forgot that I was weary in that fight roll. I think that fight roll actually failed. But, well, let's see if I can actually succeed in a fight roll this time. These 2 dice go away. This one is cocked, but I think that counts as a 5. Yes, I did not fail. Sorry, I did not succeed a fight roll. I failed it, so I'm going to take some damage. When does the famous last stand thing happen? Choose an ally who will step into the fray. I'll go through the clash roll. If the clash roll fails, I will have an ally step into the fray to try to save it all. Okay, I'm taking 9 more points of damage. I'm close to death. Let's have they have to be, well, if they're aggressive, they're ill-favored though. But it's the only way they're gonna get anything. I think this is probably going to be the last roll in the fight. Let's be aggressive. Why not? So that's going to be 1 point of resistance gone. It's an ill-favored roll. It's a war roll. There's no hope to spend. So it's an ill-favored roll only with only 2d6s. I got 9s on both d12s. But anyway, that's not a success. That's a 15, and I need an 18. So I think it's time for someone to make a desperate last stand. So let's pick on someone. It's gonna be Var or Dari. They're both the fighting sorts. I'll just odds. It's gonna be Dari. Even it's gonna be Var. It's Var. Var turns with a tear in his eye to the rest of the band and tells everyone to run. He raises his axe and charges in. We see like a slow motion mouth opening, like screaming, but no sound of screaming, like dramatic background music, I think, as he charges towards the mauler. I may have overestimated my dwarves' ability in this fight, but we'll see. Var is going to make a desperate stand. So, oh, I see. So I do make the right. Okay, so I do make the whole roll. So it being inspired does matter. He only survives if I roll a Gandalf rune. So I'm remaking my war roll. Okay. Could spend points of hope, but then I would be miserable. And being miserable means that the Eye of Sauron is an automatic fail. That's not so bad. I've got to do it. I've got to spend hope on this, which will get me 2 extra dice because it's inspired. So I'm rolling 2d12s and 4d6s. If I roll anything other than a Gandalf rune, Var will die. Var has died. I got a 1 and a 7. But what was my target number? My target number was 18. Yep, that's 11, 18. I've hit the target number. Okay. He goes out in a blaze of glory to allow us to deal 2 points of damage. We're getting there. Var's dead. Goodbye, Var. Let's cross you out. I'll deal with the shadow points of seeing a comrade sacrifice themselves for you after the fight, if anyone is around after the fight. I feel we need to press on because escaping the fight is going to be resistance at least 3. And we've only got resistance 4 left to actually succeed. So we just need to do it. Okay. No fellowship, no hope. My character is weary. The band is miserable. Well, I'm miserable as well. Taken very few wounds. I've only got 1 injury so far. There were 2, but then the other injured person was Var, who is no more. So we might make it. We might all die. It's very close. I'm leaning towards all die still. There's no way I can duel the troll now, being weary, miserable, and almost dead. I need to fight. I may die in the next hit. The last time I took 9 damage, I've only got 8 health left. That's a 22. That's good. That's a success on my combat roll. No 6s though. That's a shame. So no bonuses in the clash roll to offset the penalties. But that is 1 more point of resistance for the band gone. Yes, exactly. For Moria. So aggressive stance would automatically reduce resistance by 1 as well. So we'd be down to 2 resistance. However, it's ill-favored and we're losing 2 dice because we have an archfoe and we have a persistent disadvantage. So I don't think I can hit 18 with 1d12 and 1d6. I mean, it's mathematically possible, but it's just so unlikely. So I feel guarded is the only option here. It's the only thing that has like a reasonable chance. So guarded stance, 2d12s, 1d6. Dari is gonna hold up his famous axe and try to keep everyone safe behind it, getting an extra die on the roll, but possibly being horribly mangled if it goes badly wrong. A Gandalf rune, perfect. That is an automatic success. Don't get a 6 though. I'm sure these d6s have fewer 6s than they should. So that's just 1 point of damage, which applies to both the warband and the mauler. We might make it. We might just make it. Next round, another fight roll. I suppose we do have hope left, and we are miserable, so there's no point holding it back, really. It's kind of spend it or die at this point. So I'll spend a point of hope to get a bonus die. Uh, 10, 18. That is a success. No sixes again. Okay. Oh my god. It's down to 1 resistance. If the band takes aggressive stance, we'll automatically do it. Yeah, I think they have to go aggressive. It would be crazy not to. Okay, so the band is going to take aggressive stance, which reduces this resistance down to 0. But we still need to make the roll. It could be a case where our band and the war band kind of kill each other. So it's an ill-favored clash roll. I'm going to spend my last point of hope to try to... Oh, I think I just forgot I was weary again on this. And I've moved the dice now. I'll leave it. It's fine. I'm the GM. I can cheat. Okay, ill-favored roll, but I'm spending a point of hope to make it slightly less bad. We'll use Dari's gift again to get an extra die. That is a failure. So someone probably is going to get injured. Yep, that's a failure on the rally roll. So someone gets injured. Just roll. It's Dari because I said he was at the forefront. So he now has a fleeting injury. But we did it. We reduced the resistance of the... Oh, it's... No, it was Var's gift who was wasted. As well as Var the person being wasted. I don't think using it once wasted. It's only if you get the eye. So I think we did it. We somehow defeated the Mauler and his warband at the cost of all of our hope and fellowship and most of my endurance and the life of Var. So it was a bit of a Pyrrhic victory. Let's see, what's the suggested shadow gain for seeing someone die? It's probably a 2. It's a gruesome killing. Yep. Let's roll to resist the shadow. Okay, I didn't resist, so I take. Oh wait, no. Yes. That's the right thing to roll. Okay, that's 2 more shadow points. And now we just need to get home. The 28-mile journey with no resources left. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, I will take this opportunity to fiddle with my dice cam lights and try to work out why it isn't as bright as it should be. I can put another light on. Right, that's got the dice cam light sorted, I think. No, it's not solid. It was solid for a moment. Okay, let's just put this extra light on as well. That's kind of okay. There's still a weird shadow that shouldn't be there, but it's better than it was. Okay, the journey home. Shadow. My shadow is greater than my hope, which means I'm miserable. I don't think I get a shadow scar automatically. Let's double check that. Oh yes. No. Okay, so if your shadow reaches your maximum hope, yes, if your shadow reaches your maximum hope, which it has not, my maximum hope is 17 because I've got a virtue improving it. Then I would have to have a bout of madness and progress down my dark path. But I'm okay because I've only got four shadow points. See, the eye awareness should also go up as we just had a loud fight. Let's bump that up 2 points. And it is tempting to just like hand wave the journey back with a single roll, but I kind of want to see if they actually make it back. So let's play out the whole journey back. And if they die, I guess they die. Right, no hope. So just 2d6 on this maneuver roll. Gandalf. Let's hop back over to our journey rules. Okay, so it's Gandalf rune. That's a bonus die on my travel roll. Okay. Target is 18, I believe. There's only 3 target numbers to remember. I don't know why this is so difficult. Yes, okay, so I've got yep, that's over 18, and I've got a 6, so I'm moving 8 miles before something weird happens. And the weird thing is endlessly branching stairs and passages. Maybe going to add a whole day onto our journey. So where have we ended up? Let's go to our random chamber generator. Well, I guess the random chamber is where we end up afterwards. So we've got a 1 on that. For endlessly branching stairs and passageways. Maddening roads. Need an awareness or vigilance roll to keep our wits. Okay, I feel on the journey back, we are all saddened by the loss of Var. It was Var, right? Yes, it was Var. We're all saddened by the loss of Var, and we're all kind of trudging along slowly. And at some point, we realize we have inadvertently strayed off the path we used to come here. So we may be backtracking, trying to find where we got lost. And vigilance, we've got 3 on vigilance with a target number of 15. For awareness, I've got 2 and a target number 14. Okay, vigilance is strictly better. Is anyone good at maps? Not especially. No. If we're traversing a cave, maybe Toki's climber gift would apply here, but for navigating corridors, I don't think it really does. 10, 15, 16. Target number of 15. Okay, we find our way back. We are going to gain some fatigue. I'm super weary. I keep forgetting I'm weary, and that's affecting my dice rolls. It didn't matter for this vigilance roll because the band as a whole isn't weary. Though they do now need to roll to resist fatigue from this source. So let's have a look at that. Yep, the band gets some fatigue. Number 5, person number 5. That is Dari, is now fatigued. And we've got an eye, so the eye awareness goes up by 1. It's getting very close to the hunt threshold, which is kind of funny given that I decided to, house rule eye awareness resetting every fellowship phase because it got nowhere near it in the previous 3 missions. Maybe this time it will. Okay, so we made our way this terrible journey home, where we can tell Barlin that we succeeded in getting rid of the enemy, but we lost one of our own. Let's try the next leg of our journey. No, that is a failure. I'm going to lose a die on my travel roll, and I can't make that up with a hope because we have no hope left. There's no hope. That means the whole band is miserable, not just me. Let's check that. I'm favored on my travel roll, so I get rid of that Eye of Sauron. Was that that is not enough. We only make it 2 miles. Before something happens. The long dark of Moria. Drums in the deep. Okay. That means someone has come across the pile of bodies we left behind us. So the Mauler has been found, as has his warband. And there are drums behind us as the goblins of Moria swarm to find who has done this. We definitely need to get away from that, but I don't think we'd survive another fight. With so much of the journey to still go, especially. Okay. To explore or maneuver to get away from this. I think I'm okay at explore, actually. Yeah, very similar target numbers, and we're all miserable. So we're not likely to get away from this. I think what makes narrative sense here is if we fail this, the next encounter is going to be with pursuers, regardless of what we roll. So that'll be fun. Okay. That is not a success because weary. It would have been better for the band to roll it because the band isn't weary. Oh well. Okay, we're being actively pursued. Unless we travel all 18 miles in one go without interruption, we've got another fight on our hands. Good luck, dwarves. This maneuver roll better succeed. It did not succeed, so the travel roll is not going to go well. In fact, it's not even possible to make it back without encountering our pursuers now. There's no way to move 18 miles in one go. I mean, that's even a failure on the travel roll, so we only make it 2 more miles before we are caught by pursuers. Let's roll the size of this warband or horde or whatever it is. A 10. It is a pack of goblins. I think there won't be an archfoe with them, as we just faced an archfoe. So normally these guys I feel wouldn't be much of a threat because might of 1 is very low, so our target numbers for things are pretty good. But me being weary and the band being miserable, well, me and the band being miserable, it's really not looking good. There is a very strong chance of Hon dying in this fight, as she only has 8 endurance. I don't think it makes sense to fight these guys. I think the objective we should go for is flee. Which, does it suggest how difficult that is? If not, I feel probably difficulty of... Yeah, it doesn't say. I feel a resistance of 3 makes sense to escape. Okay, we're not caught unprepared. I feel we didn't have time to set up fortifications. We're trying to escape. They were just too fast. So is a battle roll, which I am bad at. Yep, I failed the battle, so we are caught off guard, which is a temporary disadvantage. There isn't an archfoe to face this time, and I'm bad at battle and in Hearten, so let's go with fight. I've somehow made a very combat incapable character. I surely have reviewed these combat rules before assigning my skill points, as turns out heart is apparently very important for the solo rules. But okay, I'm fighting. Rolling 3 dice. Their might is only 1, so my target number is 15. Well, that's definitely not 15. Actually, hang on. 11. It is 15. I'm an idiot. I can't read numbers. Okay, that's 15. So that's going to reduce resistance of our flee objective by 1. Oops. And I got a 6. So that's going to gain a die on the clash roll, which offsets this caught off guard. So I'll just remove this. The band is going to fight guarded, I feel. Or maybe balanced, actually. Yes, the band is going to fight balanced, so they're going to make just a straight war roll. They're not losing any dice this time because there's no archfoe. And what they're going to try to do is hit this flee objective. So our target number is 16, and this is not 16. Okay, so that's a failure. It's just a regular failure. It's not a failure with an I. So the band makes a rally test, and possibly someone gets an injury. Yes, that is an injury. And who is taking that injury? 2. Ostry. It's very kind of the dice to evenly split the injuries amongst the members of my band rather than piling them all on one person. But we have to keep struggling. So back to trying to fight our way out. That is a success. No, it's not, because I'm weary. Yep, that's only a 13. So that's a failure. So I am about to take some damage. Could be it for Hon. That's 7 points of damage. I have 1 endurance left. Okay. Not looking good for Hon. The band, be balanced again. I feel being aggressive would make progress, but I feel the chances of succeeding when being aggressive, not able to offset that ill-favored roll. But reducing the resistance by 1 automatically is very good. Yeah, let's do it. Let's be aggressive. Why not? So I reduce the resistance by 1, so we're only 1 point away. Our roll is ill-favored, and we've got 3 dice for war. The Gandalf rune is cancelled out. That's very unfortunate. And that is not a 16, so that is another failure. So you have to roll to resist injury. Yep, that didn't work out. Anna now has a moderate injury. So the band as a whole becomes weary if I think it's like if half of them have severe injuries or greater. So I've only got, well, we don't have any severe injuries yet. I am going to fight again. It's a shame I can't just actually okay, so if I roll, so the problem with rolling fight here is I will die if this goes badly. So if I roll command, I'll probably fail the command roll, and that would give a temporary complication, but I wouldn't die. If I roll inspire, I will probably fail, which should give me a shadow point, which isn't so bad here, actually. Does feel slightly metagamey, but I feel it's the best option. So Hon is going to cry out a dwarven war cry, try to inspire everyone to do their best and to push through this last, well, hopefully last obstacle before we make it home. So that is an Inhearten roll, which I have no points in. So I'm just rolling a d12, and I need to get a Gandalf rune. And when I fail, I will gain a shadow point. Yep. Okay. Let's roll to resist that shadow point as I try to bolster morale, but it just comes out like panicked, I suppose. Did not resist that, so that is a point of shadow. Madness is creeping ever closer. Both in-game to my characters and in reality to me, I feel, as I play this this terrible situation out. So thankfully that is the only penalty. It's not going to affect the band badly. That they're already miserable. So the band is going to go aggressive, which will knock this resistance down to 0. We will flee after this roll unless everyone dies. That's a 16, which is actually what we needed to succeed on that. So we do make it out. It's a shame that we can't really spend the dice on. I mean, I guess we could apply it to 2 damage to the pack, though we're about to run away from these guys, so it doesn't really matter. But okay, we've managed to fight our way out of this pack. Eye awareness is going to go up again. The hunt threshold is getting close. We might be about to be Balrogged. And we've got 16 miles to go to get home. Will we make it? I'm still not sure. Okay, maneuver roll. That is not 15. Travel roll. Where's my journey tables? Here they are. 18. That's great. No 6s though. Curse these d6s that never roll 6s when I want them to. But I do move 6 miles. So I'm only 10 miles away from home before something happens. Oh no, an Eye of Sauron. The Deadly Dark. We got a 2, Smoke and Flame. I mean, it could be worse. If I'd have rolled a 3, that would have been Goblin Arrow Slits. Okay, Smoke and Flame. Who is about to be smoked and flamed? I'm just going to pick on someone. I'll roll a d6. If it is a 6, it'll be me. Otherwise, it'll be one of my allies. It is Anar. What's Anar's deal? He's a smith. He's always scribbling in a journal. That doesn't really suggest he would be out in front, but maybe he is in this case. Or maybe he is walking along and there's like a crack opens in the ground, and steam comes out, like flames. He needs to make a vigilance roll, which fortunately we're kind of okay at vigilance. That is exactly what we need to not be burned. So Anar is fine, but we gain fatigue. I might just drop dead if I gain enough fatigue. Actually, when we stopped for the night and effectively ending our journey, I should also have rolled to reduce fatigue on myself. So I will do that now. I don't think it would have made a difference to the fight as my fatigue is so high and my endurance so low. But we'll see. Is it possible to rest? So, yeah, I guess resting would recover my endurance. Yeah, I think we should look around for a safe place to rest. Yes, 10 miles away from home. That's a long journey. Let's try to find somewhere, which is probably vigilance. To find a spot somewhere that looks defensible. So I'll make a vigilance roll. On success, I will find somewhere safe to rest for the night. But on a failure, we maybe just have to press on. So we're being hunted by goblins. Okay, we find a safe place to rest. Let's roll a random chamber. Where exactly do we hole up? We hole up in a storeroom, which is flooded. That's not amazing, but maybe it's at least got a door. And it looks homely. A homely storeroom. Maybe it is a storeroom in a house. Maybe that's what's homely about it. But um, yeah, water has got in somehow, and so it is a bit uncomfortable. But it does have a door that we can shut and hole up for the night. And for a prolonged rest, let's remind myself exactly what that does. I forget every single time. A prolonged rest, I can recover. So I'm not actually wounded. So I can recover all my lost endurance points. Okay, my max endurance is 28. I am 1 point off being weary now. So that is a material improvement. But I will become weary again almost immediately once we set out. Let's see, when do these guys things clear? Is that only in a fellowship phase? Or is it with a rest as well? Let's have a look. Pay 203 and 204. Okay, a fleeting injury ended with a short rest and a moderate injury with a prolonged rest. And then fatigue. Only that's the lowest tier of fatigue. That's probably going to go away as well. Yes. Okay. So all these conditions clear. That's very, very good. Everyone is still miserable, and I am 1 point off being weary. We only have 10 miles to go, though, so maybe we'll make it home. Oh yes, and I was about to roll to reduce my fatigue because the journey we split it up into 2 legs. I was getting there. At the end of that, I should have reduced my fatigue, and then getting back. Okay, so that is a travel roll, and will potentially let me get rid of some fatigue points. My travel is favoured, which is useful here. Okay. That is a success, but I don't have any 6s, so I believe it's just 2 fatigue points that I get rid of. But let me just remind myself. So when you, yes, fatigue at the end of the journey, a success reduces fatigue by 1, plus 1 for every 6 rolled. So my fatigue is actually 13, which is still pretty bad. Okay, we wake up bright and early the next morning. Well, I guess we don't really know what time of day it is, being underground. We wake up at some point after probably just passing out immediately as soon as we barricaded the door. No one has died in their sleep overnight. The door still seems secure, and we cautiously open it, ready to hopefully travel 10 miles back home and rest up for a while, I think. So that is going to be another maneuver roll. Which we do not succeed on. We don't succeed numerically, but also I rolled an Eye of Sauron there, which means because we're miserable, that is an automatic failure. And the eye awareness goes up by 1. We're very close to having a Revelation episode, which is interesting. That'll be fun. So now I need to make my travel roll to see if we make it home. We could potentially make it this time. What have we got here? So that 4 goes away. No, that's a 10. Which is not my target number of 18, so we only travel 2 miles. 8 miles, and something is about to happen. That is a 10. The right way. Nice. And the specific right way thing we have got is a glimmer in the dark. We see some sort of light. Presumably this is illuminating a place we recognize. Maybe some of maybe like Barlin's people like lighting up areas that have been visited or that are frequently trafficked to help lost injured dwarves such as ourselves on our way home when we spot one of these way markers. And we need expertise to get there. We're inspired with expertise, so that's very good. I'm going to roll actually, that doesn't really help, because inspired gets you extra dice for hope, and we don't have any hope to spend. It would be great if it was favored, but it is not. So it's just going to be... We're down to 0 hope, right? Yes, we're down to 0 hope, so it's just going to be a straight roll on this. It's a Gandalf rune. Where were all of these before in the fights? So that is a success. We don't gain fatigue, and we speed along our way. It does say reduce the length of the journey by 1 day, but that doesn't really make sense given we're so close. Maybe we just make especially good time in these last 8 miles. And so, trudging along, we've got the last leg of the journey. That is a success for once on the maneuver roll with a 6, so I'm rolling 2 extra dice on my travel roll. That's a 5 d6s. I think we have a good chance of making it all the way home. Another Gandalf rune, perfect. And we've got a 6. So yes, we make it all the way home. Without incidents. Well, without further incidents. And I guess we've brought Var's body back with us. So we just like stagger back into camp, carrying this body covered in wounds. Maybe even still bleeding a bit as we got pretty beat up in the fights, and we've been marching for like 2 days. We just like stagger into camp and collapse face first into 6 bowls of tasty mushroom stew, or whatever it is dwarves use to revitalize themselves. So I'm going to roll to try to get rid of some of my fatigue. That is a success, and a 6. I get rid of 2 fatigue. Just still super high, 11 fatigue. Okay. I think it is time for a well-deserved fellowship phase for our guys. I think this has to be an extended fellowship phase. So for an extended phase, it says clear all injury and fatigue conditions among your allies. Heal player hero wounds. Surely I should recover player hero fatigue as well. because maybe that's mentioned in the main rules. Actually, let's just... Yes, you get rid of 1 point of fatigue for every prolonged rest you take in a sheltered and safe refuge, so not on the road. So I think we're taking a break of like 2 weeks. So let's update the details. So the loose thread for the troll, that has been resolved. This was like a 4-day journey, I think. We slew them all up, but Var died. We'll have a 2-week fellowship phase. Right, so we do all these things, and then before the undertakings, we have to roll to see if something bad happens. So, recover hope points. So we're shooting right back up to 17 hope. Remove 1 to 3 shadow points. Let's have a look at what the guidelines are. I think we've actively hindered or damaged the enemy. So that's 2 shadow points gone. We have definitely not done a deed that would gain the attention of the Dark Lord himself. So, oops. So only 2 shadow points there, so we're down to 3. Which means we're not miserable anymore. We're having an extended break, so eye awareness is going to reset. And what else happens? Right, so hope, shadow points, endurance comes back. I've already done that. Had a rest. Recover any wasted gifts. That was Var, but he is dead. Heal a wound. I don't actually have a wound. Clear all injury and fatigue conditions. They're already gone because we had a rest on the road. And then... So yes, after recovering and performing character updates, but before undertaking any undertakings rather. After roll, and this is ill-favored because we're taking a extended break. And if either of these comes with an Eye of Sauron, something bad happens. And we lose an undertaking. Okay. So we don't have an interruption here. That's all fine. Right. Okay, so we want to reclaim the Chamber of Mazarbul as a safe haven, so we can do lots of law undertakings there. But I don't feel that now is the time to do it, because this time we're recovering from our fatigue and wounds. So I don't think we get to do that this time. We definitely want to recruit new allies. So if your band numbers fewer than 4, gain allies up to 4. Otherwise, gain 1 ally for every rank in Valor. So we have 1 Valor, we're going to get 1 ally. And so that's 1 undertaking, then we'll have another undertaking, but let's roll up this ally. Gathering allies, here we go. Okay. Let's clear all this. Okay. Right. Okay, so we start with a gift. Okay, 3/3. An artist. We already have an artist. I'm gonna re-roll that. A gem hound. Sniffs out valuables, gem knowledge, carries mining tools. Okay. I think that makes sense. As a thing a reclaimer band might be interested in. Quirks. 3/3. Keeps a well-worn tankard on their belts. Maybe it's like gem encrusted, given this they're a gem hound. Not valuable gems, but something. And a name. Eerie. Oh, yes, I have my names bigger. Let's. How big is this? It's 36. Okay. Welcome to the team, Eerie. Hopefully you last longer than Var did. So that's one undertaking. I've got a second one I can do. Can I really make any of these into a hardened character? Because that does help a lot. I feel not. I feel it was only really Var who went into like great personal danger to try to help the band, and he died as a result of that. So I need to be more risky with these people, I think, to justify them becoming hardened. So I think for future adventures, I'll aim to get I'll aim to have one person kind of stand out and be able to be hardened each time, but didn't make it this time. Let's note down we have recruited Eerie. We get some experience points, which is mentioned somewhere. Yeah, milestones. We achieved a mission. And survived a dangerous battle. Okay, so that's 2 adventure points. Sorry, 3 adventure points and 2 skill points. I'll have to double check if that's enough for a new. Why do I have 2 rewards here? Did I increase my valor last time and then just forget to note that down anywhere? Just have a look at the log. Gained reward. Yeah, I did. I increased my valor to 2. And then just forgot to note that down anywhere or deduct any points for it. Oops. How much did that cost? I think it's described in the fellowship phase rules, actually. Yes, so I should decrease this by 8. So those shadow rolls should have been slightly easier. Oh well. Anyway, I need to do a second undertaking. So let's just have a look at what I have available to me. I could gather rumors, and let's also look at our goals here. So ultimately, I want to find Durin's axe, or at least other kingly relics. So, Could possibly gather rumors and just give my characters a clue towards that. Ponder maps, which would give a bonus to journey rolls. Strengthen Fellowship, which gets... I think Strengthen Fellowship, actually. I used a bunch of Fellowship points this time. Yeah, let's get that. Put this... put this over here. So I've studied maps. Oh, sorry, I have pondered, storied, and figured maps. Okay, I guess that is enough for this session. So next time I'll have to go on another mission, I suppose. I mean, I could arguably, like, it would be reasonable for my characters to just go and search the King's Hall even without knowing that keys might be there, because they're looking for kingly relics. So maybe next mission will be going to search the King's Hall for any recoverable treasure. I think still want these undertakings to get the Chamber of Mazabal and to determine who had keys, but maybe we'll get the Chamber of Mazabal, search. Oh, maybe we'll just do it in a different order. Maybe we'll like search the King's Hall, come back with anything of value. Then we will fix up the Chamber of Mazabal, spend some time trying to work out who would have had access to the special secure armory. We learn the King would and the Marshal would, and then we know, well, we've just been in the King's room and he didn't have keys, so we don't need to go back there. And then instead we turn our focus to Durin the First. Yeah, I think that will make sense. So that's what I'll do next Friday, and Monday next week is going to be another variety thing. So this week I did 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. I was going to decide in advance what to do next week, but I didn't, so I will figure it out between now and then. It might be Lichdom, so that's a little solo system about being an evil wizard trying to become a lich. I might go for that, but there's other options as well. So I will see. So thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.